sure. Say that. I did it. Hit my knee on the table. X, you good?
Yes, sir.
Got all your messages out?
Nah. Yeah, just make sure I got all my notes.
Popular.
We straight.
Here
you go.
My boy got news.
I'm coming back today.
All y'all came correct today. Shout out to my guys. All y'all had y'all sneakers straight up today. Okay.
Oh,
everybody had they fits on right. Okay.
Oh damn! I didn't see the fresh kick.
Well, right next, I walked in. I was like, damn.
Got my bands on, but they look like sneakers.
Here you go.
Everybody came to accommodate.
Remember that song? Nah, I got a little situation after this.
Right. Here we go. We starting off early. We not even 60 seconds in.
Summer.
We not even 60 seconds in, bro.
Oh my God, yo! I set myself up for that part. Y'all got that. Yo, before I actually intro the show too, I do gotta give a special thanks to y'all two right here, X and KC.
Oh,
yeah.
Me?
Yes.
I didn't leave the lights on.
Yes, the both of y'all. KC been holding it down with the edits. All the edits on the page is credit to him. As y'all can see, I always tag him on the page as well. So that's for me. Shout out to KC. Reach out to him, but don't reach out too much because I don't want my boy to go away from me. But you know, I gotta be selfish a little bit. Gotta be a little selfish.
I ain't starving, man, but throw me a little something, a little appetite.
So X, he been holding it down with reaching out to people with networking, pushing the show forward. So
always, bro.
So I definitely appreciate the both of y'all, and shout out WAP too as well. He definitely he do his part, and Banks and Zay and and Danny and my brother. All right, let's go on. But yeah, so shout out to everybody that's been supporting this podcast and helping it move forward, because I can't do it by myself. I could do a lot of things by myself, but this is something I can't do by myself. So I appreciate everybody. All right, the emotional Dex is out. All right, y'all got that. Y'all got that.
Let's turn the page.
Y'all got that page too. But yeah, so we back with another episode of the FFT podcast. You got your host, Cool Dex, Smooth Dex, Driving Dex, International Dex, Rapping Dex, sometimes editing Dex. I gotta keep my skills sharp.
Yeah, I peeped it. I peeped the little fly-ins.
Hey,
under crunch time, my boy can produce.
I be doing a little bit networking Dex. I had to steal X name real quick. Hold on. You know we ain't seen in a long time, KC. Vainglorious.
Ex-Vainglorious. I'm back.
In the building.
I
haven't said that in a while. You're right, and I've been on the mic more than once.
I know. That's what happened when we just moved.
Yeah, bro, you're right.
We just in the zone. But X, we are not here by ourselves.
We're not.
I'm gonna leave it up to you, my boy.
So like you said, I've been networking. I've been just trying to do some outreach for the team. Then I created my own title. Here we go. Marketing and outreach department.
Chair.
Right chair. Director. But just within the forms of fashion and just I always had an interest in that. So when I see certain people just outside of just being an artist, you always got to give your flowers and give credit where it's due. So I've recently reached out to who we have as our guest, Dez. Could you introduce yourself? I believe you can introduce yourself better than I can.
I'm Dez. I'm also known as Fly Kickz. I create art inspired by sneakers. I guess sneakers are my muse in a sense. So yeah, everything I do kind of embodies that energy.
Okay, and where are you from?
I'm originally from Trenton.
Okay, all right, that's dope. Jersey Dave. Okay, so what made you get into art? Because that's not something that everybody does. And the reason why I say that because it's like my oldest brother was into it, but I wasn't. So it's like, but all my friends that I know is probably like out of like 8 of us, it was probably maybe 2 that was actually like into art. Yeah. So for you, like, what was that initial point? At what age? Just start from the beginning.
I think I took it serious at 8 years old. My mom
Okay.
said, I know it's like you took it serious at 8. But I'm the only child, so like art was like my greatest escape. I would always try to figure out things to kind of buy my time. I was always taking things apart, putting it back together. I always tell myself, like, if I could see it, if I could dream it, I could do it. So I was always kind of trying to mastermind a way to kind of create something. So yeah, been running with it ever since then, I guess.
And so, all right, so from there, what, like, So you took it serious at 8, and then when did people started to recognize like, hey, you have something special?
Like after high school, you know, I went to Trent High, so I was doing like T-shirts and headbands to kind of make money.
Was you with the airbrush days back in the day?
No, I was actually like hand painting everything.
No. I've been in the game grinding for a minute.
No, I was just doing hand painting everything,
okay.
and then I moved to Queens, to New York.
Shout out to Queens.
Yeah.
That's like my second home. Shout out to Queens.
I went to college out there, and actually in Midtown Manhattan at FIT. And as like, you know, just kind of seeing everybody kind of come into their own, doing their own thing, I was like, you know, at some point I was like, I'm gonna start customizing sneakers. At that time, you know, Fab and his videos with all the custom Air Force Ones, it was big. It was like, where did they get these kicks from? I've never seen them in stores.
Exactly.
So I just kind of started playing around with it in my studio in Queens, and then I think a few years later, maybe like 2009, 2008, from doing like sneaker shows, sneaker battles, and stuff like that all around New York, people started to take notice to who I was, because I was like the new kid on the block for a very long time, you know. And I don't know, everything is a process, you know. You could put in 10 years of work, and then one moment to change the rest of your life, you know. You just kind of have to keep at it. So I think that like this has probably been like, this last year and a half has probably been the best year and a half like of my life. It's like crazy.
Really? Really?
Before we get into like people noticing your art, I want to touch on you being in sneaker battles. Like break that down.
Yeah. What is that like? I was about to say,
I've never heard anything.
I like that.
So like years ago when Footmaster Flex used to have the car and bike show,
right?
There were like different categories. So it'll be like best Air Force One collection, best Jordan collection, and it was always like best custom sneakers. So at that time of doing the shows, I was usually a lot of times I was usually the only female taking part in the custom sneaker battles. So I create these extravagant like displays. Like I remember one time like having these dunks that are customized with like a fish scale, coral reef type of thing, and I actually have a Siamese fighting fish in these tanks that I brought to the show.
Wait, you brought the fish?
I brought the fish.
Oh no, you different.
Shit.
I mean, I figure, you know, being a new kid on the block, I had to do it big, like, you know. So, and you was going to see like some 9 times out of 10 the most popular up and coming artists, like rap artists at the time. So yeah, like I mean, they just pick these categories, judges go around and take a look at it, and it was like a big thing. Even if you didn't win, it was pretty major. And then from there, I did a few trade shows where I was competing, and I'd get trophies and stuff like that. So that was nice.
Oh, so you got some accolades
I
out there.
Okay.
I got a few things.
Time, money, few. Okay, all right. You coming up with fish to the functions and shit. Okay. Not fried and died. All right. I like that. Okay. When you said it's people noticing your art, and it's kind of interesting because I noticed your art before I came across you. Like I saw your piece on FSR.
Which piece was it?
It's one of her
was it the Wu-Tang?
Yeah,
yeah. That's what it was. Because you sent it to me.
Right.
Okay.
So I noticed that before I came across, you know, who you were. So how did you, were able to facilitate that move to have your piece on the show?
You know, doing the meeting along some good people along the way, they keep me in mind for things. You know, because I always say, like, if you leave a good impression on people, you may not be right now. But time may go by and you be like, remember that girl that we met that does sneakers and stuff like that? Hit her up, like she was pretty dope. And actually, that's actually how that came about. Somebody who was kind of coordinating the stage for the show reached out to me and was like, listen, I remember you doing sneaker art. What do you think? And I was like, yo, I got a Wu piece that'd be crazy for that. And I actually had 2 pieces. So one of which I sold, and one I'm actually trying to get to Method Man right now. So make sure y'all be tagging him in that.
We gonna tag him on this. We definitely gonna tag him on this. Everybody tag Method on this. Everybody tag. So what was that feeling like when you realized like people noticed that piece and you realized like people actually want that? What was that moment like?
That was crazy because now I have people coming up to me like, yo, they may not even know me, but you that Woo girl, the girl that did the Woo page. And I'm like, I don't care what you can call me, sneaker girl. You can call me, it don't even matter. Like the art resonates with you, so you know. So it's nice that people notice that. So I've had people travel to different places and be like, this art reminds me of you, and just send it to my DM. I'm like, yo, how dope is that? That reminds you of me and what I do. So I mean, it's been kind of like crazy for people just to kind of really notice what you do. And to some, this is the first time they've ever seen anything like this. And I tell people, I'm not the only person that's cut up sneakers before.
To see it this
way.
Yeah,
but to see it this way is a little different. So.
That's fire.
Cause I got a question.
Go ahead.
I got a question. Did quarantine kind of make you more creative since we were all kind of sitting home, like doing nothing? Like, cause you said something like a year and a half, things kind of got like crazy. So did quarantine kind of help with that, or was that something you were doing before that and it kind of helped?
Well, I always tell people I've been quarantining my whole life, so this is like
that only child shit for real.
I'm at a professional level at this point, so it really didn't do much for me because of my lifestyle. I'm always on the move and not having to be around people. I mean, it doesn't do anything for me. Like, it doesn't do anything to me. But to be able to just kind of knowingly know that the world is slowed down, so these people that you felt weren't within reach before, now you could slide in the DMs, you was getting replies, like people ain't really have nothing going on because the meetings wasn't going on for people, they weren't flying out. So I was just like, now I'm going to just take this time to really tap in and connect with people, because I think that's where I was kind of falling short. I can create, I'm an artist, it's what I do, but you have to become a little bit more personable for the people, so they can feel like, all right, she's human.
Yeah,
we
exactly.
get it. So
they want to connect. With you.
So I was just kind of tapping into that, creating more content, reading a lot more, and feeling like just becoming more in touch with my target market at the end of the day. So.
Now, have you got the chance to see, not even through social media, but in person, your target market?
Yeah, I think I've always known who I wanted to appeal to. Like when I first started, it was one of those things like, okay, I was putting myself in a box initially saying I'm a sneaker artist. Now I'm like, sneakers are my muse. At the end of the day, it's art. I just happen to be inspired by soul. Sneakers. So now people that necessarily, in the beginning, people were like, oh, I don't get it. Like even women, like, oh, you wear sneakers, like, and it's like, it's not my fault that you're not comfortable wearing sneakers. Exactly. Like you should be able to be like, know who you are and how you want to feel, and sneakers should be able to get the job done too. So now people are kind of like, they accepting it more, and I don't have to put myself in a box. At the end of the day, I could be like, I'm just an artist, and now people that necessarily wouldn't have been attracted to it, they can't help but be like, oh, that's art, and then when they get up on it, they're like, holy shit, that's sneakers.
Right. Exactly. Top 3 sneakers.
To be honest with you, it's funny. I go by how sneakers make me feel. So it's always been like the silhouette to me. Like I've always been a Dunk High person, a Jordan 1 person. I like 3s, I like 5s as well. So I always go by how they make me feel. I think I resonate with sneakers. I call myself Fly Kickz actually, because it's not because I had the flyest kicks. It was really because my father had the flyest
Get
kicks.
into that story,
And I always, some girls, when they're little, they idolize their mothers. As they should. My mother's an amazing woman. But it was something about that cool that my dad possessed. And just watching him walk, I was convinced at an early age. I was like, yo, it got to be the Fly Kickz that's making this man so cool. Like, how do I do that? And I knew I didn't have the money. I was a kid. They were not about to buy niggas, let me tear them up. You know what I mean? So I became that energy. I became Fly Kickz. So I became his cool. Kind of in a way.
That's dope. I like that. That's dope. That's dope. I like that.
I'm glad you didn't reveal too much of that to me when I first asked you. Thank you.
Go ahead.
So when you say you were in New York for school at a fashion institute?
Yeah, I went to FIT, yeah.
Oh, really? So break that down. How did that, influence or, push the envelope for you? If it did.
It didn't at all.
Really?
Really? To be honest with you, I think what it did, listen, okay. So one thing I realized as the type of artist that I knew I aspired to be, no one could teach me that. So I was kind of like, even in high school, even though I was a straight A student, like if I felt like a teacher was teaching me straight out of the textbook, I'd get aggravated.
Zone out.
And I want to walk out. They kick me out of class. 9 times I've gotten kicked out of class.
Really?
The quiet one.
You don't look like get kicked out of class.
Quiet private boy.
It took some years to become this woman that you see before you, okay? But I think FIT opened my eyes in the sense that it was so cultured to see so many people from all over the world. Like you had people that were making shoes from the ground up. So to be able to see that was like, I'm used to buying them right out of the store, and you in here and making them. Like you've been practicing this all your life, So it was nice to be able to connect with different people. When you're from Trenton, when you're from the hood, sometimes you don't see as much diversity as you would necessarily would want to. So being able to go over to New York, I went to college, started college when I was 17 years old. So it was a dope to be on my own. Like I moved out
in New York, out of all places
Yeah,
too.
my parents literally dropped me off, and I was like, I got this from here. It's crazy.
So you wasn't nervous that first day, like you was ready for it. Like,
nah, I think I've always moved to the beat of my own drum. Like, so being I was just like, y'all go ahead, I'll be all right. I'll call y'all. I'll come visit.
I can figure this out.
Maybe.
Yeah.
maybe. Oh, what does art mean to you when you hear art? What is like? What comes to mind?
Can I answer that too?
Yeah,
right,
of course.
Yeah. What comes to mind? I don't know. Free flowing, for like free spirit. Art. Creating exuding a sense of energy. You know, like when you walk into the room, you come in the room.
Exactly.
Art means that to me. Like I always say, you put me in a crowd. You know, if I stay true to who I am, I think that irradiate.
Preach. Preach. Go ahead, my brother. Answer the question.
Oh, art. Right.
Oh, art.
I was caught up in her answer. I kind of lost track of mine.
Popcorn X.
How do I follow that up?
That's what happens in school when you don't pay attention when they read.
I feel like a certain person,
you.
but we're not gonna say his name. You know who I'm talking about. So,
go ahead.
Art stands for all real things for me.
Oh, you
like
everything. Acronym.
Yeah, it's an acronym for me.
Okay.
So like, it's an art in anything. You know, it's an art in cooking. It's an art in doing videography.
True.
It's an art in being diligent at your work. Like whatever it is, art is real.
Like,
yeah,
art
exactly.
I agree.
Exactly. All right, yeah. Pass the rock. I'm done.
Go ahead with your next question.
So let me speak on the recent program you did with the children in Philadelphia.
Oh
yeah, I saw that. So yeah, break that down. Give us the full scoop, cause
that was incredible. I remember a good friend of mine. I've been going to a lot of his shows, and he's always kept me in mind. Shout out to DJ Sherrod. He's incredible, and he's always had a passion to give back to the community and do those things. And he will always tell me, if I could figure out a way to incorporate you in what you do, we're definitely going to make it happen. So when I got the call that it was going to be for these children in Philadelphia who had been experiencing so much trauma within the last year and a half. I mean, like some have seen friends get shot. Mothers passed within the last month or two, so they were going through it.
Which part of Philly?
We were like in kind of the Germantown area. And he's just to be able to do that, I was like, okay, cool. I've never done a workshop before, but I'm sure
So that was your very first workshop.
This was my and I was actually assisting another very talented artist. So to be able to go in there, I told myself like, listen, this is what I do. Like I've done this by myself. I'm sure we can do it with kids. You just kind of bring it down to remember they're beginners.
Exactly.
They're not at the level that I was before, but just to tap in, to get to know them each individually, so many different personalities in a room. But what was amazing to me is I had 3 young ladies on there. So just be able to introduce myself and let them know, reassure them, like, listen, I started off just like you. I had no idea what I was doing, and at the time I was reading tutorials. I couldn't even watch a video.
YouTube videos.
Yeah, so it was like I had to just put it together, looking at writing, So when we got there, it was all so well organized. The energy was at a high volume.
The photos looked amazing.
Thank you. The photographer and the videographer were amazing. I had no idea. I'm like, well, I didn't even know they were even by me. And the whole time you see me, I'm like kneeling. I had so many creases in my sneaker that day. I was like, I told myself like, listen, you about to break these? But I'm like, for the kids, I'm getting down. For the kids. Yeah, because I'm telling you, I tell myself when I speak a lot with my hands, and so I move my body. So I was like, I know I'm gonna be bending down. I'm gonna be doing a lot. I bet not wear the best of the best, because it's gonna be a wrap.
It's gonna be a rough day.
And the kids loved it. I got a chance to show some of the kids, because at first, I see, especially the young guys, like, what do you know? And I'm like, well, let me show you what I do now. I started here, and they were like, what? You making videos with cutting on sneakers? So to see that evolution, I'm like, listen, everything is possible. You know what I mean? And you have to assure them that, listen, it takes a village, but I'm part of your village now.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So,
And what did the workshop consist of? It wasn't more or less just painting for the kids, or you are actually doing sneakers as well?
Yeah, so they we were all provided brand new Air Force Ones for the kids. They had all the paint and everything that they needed. So we prepped the sneakers for them, and we walked them through it, what to expect. Listen, just let your mind run free. just tap in, relax, zone out, you know. And the kids was like in it. It was to the point where it was like, all right, you can take a break. It's lunchtime. Grab some lunch. They're like, nah, we good. And he was like,
stuck in it.
I'm like, yo, I know that feeling.
We don't want to stop.
There's been times where I will paint for 15 hours straight, and I'm like, oh, I should probably eat something.
Yeah,
you know? So,
but you can't stop. You can't stop.
But yeah.
And what's special about that is that you like open at least one of those kids' horizon. Like they had no idea this was a possibility, and now they're like, oh wow, this is I might get into this right now. And that's dope. That's
went home excited, telling their parents,
exactly.
"Oh my God,
this
I can't wait to
do."
It was amazing, man.
Dad, show me how to do it.
It definitely was a team effort. You know, I even had some kids like after posting up a few videos and stuff like that, they'd actually slide my DM like, you know, it was so good meeting you, big sis. Like, you know, thank you. And I'm like,
and that's the warm feeling. You like, man, I did that. I did that.
Exactly.
Oh man. What you got? You got it.
You got one, Casey?
Oh, I'm good.
I don't, bro. I'm trying to think of a tech question.
Nah, you good.
That's with fashion.
You know me, because I was about to go into my usual joint.
Go into whatever you want.
So, what's your definition of loyalty?
You know what's so funny to me? Like, I always think this, you know, to myself. I feel like integrity supersedes loyalty, because people, and the reason that I feel like, you know, if
I like that.
I do. Yeah. I treat others how I want to be treated. So I'm going to love you to the best of my ability because that's what I desire in return. You know, I often think that people misconstrue what loyalty is. I'm going to go to the end of the earth and be stupid. Like, you're going to do whatever you want. I'm doing all that stuff to you. So, you know, I say loyalty would just mean doing right by me and in turn doing right by yourself as well. Effectively being able to communicate. We gonna ride for each other. Like, I got your left, your right, your front, and your back.
Yo, I think she might got the realest answer so far.
Right? I'm about to say.
We a year and a month in.
It's like she was prepared for that or something.
No, for real. I wasn't expecting that, man.
Sorry.
No, that was probably one of the dopest answers we had. My next question is, what's some of the hardship that you had over your career? Just because you know everything always goes good, but we do have those downs. Like, what are some of those downs that you had throughout your career? And how did you overcome them?
Yeah, you know, I had to figure out who I wanted to be when I stepped onto the scene. Like, you know, at the time, I knew for instance, I knew I like wearing my crop tops. I still wear them to this day. I knew that, you know, I was going to go out on the scene. I was going to do the same thing, but people were going to be like, oh, who she thinks she is? Oh, she just this pretty girl. Like, she, you know what I mean? People are going to hate. And I realized that people are going to hate regardless. Exactly. They might as well hate me for being me.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, you know, having to just kind of deal with that and just command that respect. Like, listen.
I'm glad you used that word. You got to command that respect.
Yeah, you know, and that's the thing when people learn to understand that, listen, regardless of how I look, I want to be the best at what I do. I want to be a beast at what I do. And my craftsmanship is going to supersede how I look every time. Like, I don't get caught up in that. And, you know, you got to understand, too, that people see what you put out on social media and stuff like that.
Yeah, they watch.
You know, they watch and stuff like that. But if the reality is, it's all an illusion. If I'm not the same being that you see before you when you around me, you like, man, that shit that she was putting on it, that she ain't about none of that positivity. And I met that girl when she's super negative. Right. So it's not really adding up. So I realized, you know, although I am a reserved individual, with sneakers, I had the ability to invite people into my world a little bit. And that opened up things for me as well, because it was me kind of stepping out of my comfort zone, putting pride aside, because it was some times where I needed help. You know, I couldn't do it all on my own. Like, there's some days when you're an artist, some days you up. Yep. Sales are crazy. You're like, oh, yeah, bills are paid. Then there's some days where you're like, oh, I don't know.
Gotta go back to the drawing board.
Yeah, like, how are we going to make this happen? And, you know, I, too, would have those moments where I just didn't want to do nothing. It's like, listen, I don't want to create. I didn't have, being younger, I didn't have control of my emotions. I was too fixated on all the things that I couldn't control. Then as I learned to read a lot more, like I'm averaging now like maybe like 20 books a year. I could do better.
I hear you.
You could
That's where
wait. You
I'm
said
at
you could
with
do
it.
better. What? Oh my God.
Yeah, that's what I'm close to where I'm at with it. For
I
real.
commend you for that. But keep going.
I mean, you gotta really discipline your mind because
Yes,
you know
true.
you're not gonna be motivated every day, but it's the discipline to want to be better than yesterday and to want to be better, the better version of you. And when you learn to like overcome this, I'm not in competition with you. I'm in competition with myself.
Yes,
You know what I mean? When you learn
yes.
to kind of figure that out, it makes life a lot easier. Life is really simple math, and everybody try to
Yeah.
make it calculus, and it's not.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yo. It's like you've been around this.
Since you're a numbers guy, you got anything to say?
He said since that's the
I'm a
tech
numbers
questions,
guy.
he said they gonna get text line in right there.
There's the innuendo, Casey. Talk binary.
No, honestly, from that point,
Yeah.
not even from that point, just
Yo,
kind of going
y'all
off a
funny,
little off
yo.
base. Have you tried to? Because I know there's a lot of there's some people that are going into futuristic sneakers. So like I don't know if they're more if that's more video editing or they'll make like 1-for-1 where it'll have like I don't know a fish in it or like some sort of LED. Do you think that's something in your horizon that you got coming up, or you're gonna want to stay away from stuff that you gotta maybe just
Plug in.
Yeah,
That-
but just
that you gotta plug
just
in.
just swing it. Like you know what I mean. You don't know where it's coming from. You're just gonna make some futuristic kicks, and then it's
Yeah.
gonna be Jordan 2.50.
Well, you know, I don't really have, I think, a passion to customize sneakers as much. See, but the freedom of creating a canvas is you can implement all those different things. Lighting, you know, different metals. It can do a lot of different, it can be more interactive,
Facts.
you know, but you don't lose focus of what you're really trying to like convey. Like, so I'm still incorporating the sneakers and doing all those things. So I just think that when you actually do canvases, is so many different
So many
options.
different. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Was there any point when you were creating you ever had like a dry spell, like you were uninspired to create?
Yes, like it's like crazy. Like I mean, as much as like I love to paint, you know, sometimes just creating, cutting up sneakers. Sometimes you gotta just stop and recharge, and sometimes it's like, well, what idea am I gonna create? I've had times where I would create a canvas every day, and it'd be like I'm on fire. Then it's like, okay, I'm burnt out. Like now, what I want to do? So that's when I start writing, incorporating like the different types of art. You know, so it'll be writing, like just changing my scenery, kind of recharging my battery. So when I get back in the studio, it's like, home sweet home. It is that need to want to create. Typically, I can't really go. Even when I travel, I can't go more than 5 days without creating something. It's very
feel that.
addictive.
Yeah,
at
because you
this point.
constantly looking.
Yeah, because it's like I'm like,
yeah.
I'm gonna incorporate this.
Yep.
Like,
What's your process to get inspired? Like, what do you do to get inspired? Like, because you know, you obviously, so you could just kind of like just jot stuff down here and there. But like when you about to go in that mode, like you said, 15 hours. Like, what do you do to build up to that, or does it just happen?
You know, no, it doesn't just happen. Typically,
Okay.
you know, I have to train kind of like I'm going to the Olympics or something. You know, so it'll be like a lot of times I get my best ideas when I'm at the gym. Like, you know, when I'm at the gym,
Okay.
I'm like chilling, you know, even I'm multitasking, you know, at the gym and stuff like that. And I'm like, yo, I can't wait to get back to the studio because now it makes sense. When I step away from my studio, all the pieces to the puzzle start to
Come
fit,
together.
you know, or even when I
understand
I say, you know, I need some inspiration, I'm gonna go to a museum. Like, you know, typically like if I go to like the Met, I am the Egyptian side all the way because
Okay.
it fascinates me that they were able to accomplish so much with so very little. So it's like, you know, so just changing the scenery, good music.
Yeah, true.
You know,
Always
like,
music.
Yeah, and sometimes it's the quiet, the stillness of things, just blocking out the noise. Because I'm telling you, like if you talking to everybody every day, replying to emails every day, you're mentally exhausted.
Yeah, I know the feeling.
So you know, so it's definitely a process from beginning to end. In gym, reading, going outside. But I start moving at about 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, and I typically don't stop moving until about 2 or 3
In the afternoon, at night.
in the morning. The next
Wait,
morning,
You said in the
I wake up at like maybe 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning.
5 in the morning until 2 in the morning.
Yeah, so it depends. It depends. I mean, sometimes I do really good and I stop at maybe
She
like
might
1
be a
o'clock.
robot. That's what it is.
You,
Like
you drink water and smoothies and
wild.
stuff.
I drink a lot. No,
3
hours? No, it's like all right. For instance, it's like.
Yeah, explain your day.
All right,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
instance,
yeah.
like if you're, I'll definitely explain my day. But when you're creating, it's like this. It's like an addict trying to find a fix. Once you find that fix, you're kind of chasing that high. A little bit,
Yep.
that
White
first
dragon.
high,
Yep.
you know. So
Right.
when I'm creating, it's like
Yep.
I feel like I'm high the whole time, and then once I start to like get to the end, it's like,
yeah,
I'm chill now.
Exactly.
Now it's time to relax in the bed, light a candle, chill out, you know. But in the morning, it's like this morning it was, I got up, I say my affirmations, you know, just to remind myself why I'm so grateful. So I always say, you know, before my feet hit the ground, that's the first thing I do. Because I used to reach for my phone and I used to mess up my whole day.
I'm glad you brought that up.
So I stopped doing that. I do about 15 minutes of like listening to like law of attraction kind of recordings type stuff. And I just I jump right into it, because if you lay in the bed too long, it's going to take you longer to get up. So I get up immediately and I make my bed each and every day. Because if you don't, when you come back to a messy bed, it makes you feel like you didn't accomplish anything the whole day. And then I like to get into the gym and work out and be out of there by the latest 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning. And then I'm really typically starting part 2 or 3 of my day when everybody's just kind of getting up. So
it is so funny that you said that, because I'm the same way. I'm up by like 9 a.m. like, yo, where everybody at? Hey, what y'all doing? People like, yo, man, I'm just getting up. You know, I'm about to do this. I'm like,
yeah, I've been up for like 4 hours.
I'm like, man, I did ate breakfast, wash my clothes, edited some episodes.
Part 2 of the day already.
And I'm waiting for more. So I understand you, like you said, when it comes to that, because it's like a high that we can't get to, because it's like, I want that every day. So I'm going to keep going and going and going. That's why sometimes people are like, yo, man, how you keep going? I'm just like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what I'm chasing, but I'm gonna get to it one day.
The finish line. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna get to it one day.
Vision.
But we're not done. But can you shout out like your Instagram handles and just like how people can reach you, the projects you got going on,
or you can buy your art,
buy your art and events, anything that you got going on.
You can check me out on Instagram at FlyKickz. That's FLYKICKZ. I also have my website, IamFlyKickz.com. And I'm gearing up for my first solo exhibition. I'll be a highlighted artist.
Oh shit!
I'm extremely excited, you know, and to be able to do this in my hometown at the Trenton Social.
Yeah. What day?
June 4th. It's a Friday.
We in there.
So it's you know, they around in that area they do events called First Fridays. So Mill Hill does them, and the social is starting back up now.
Yeah, I love the social.
So I'm gonna be there, and my exhibit will run for the whole month. So I take over for the whole month, but the grand, you know, the opening is June 4th. So definitely come and check that out. It's free, of course, so which is great. Yeah. Tonight I'm actually doing an art collective Star Wars themed show. So I created a Darth Vader piece for that. So I'll be in the building at Trenton Social for that.
May 4th, that's dope.
You know, and more art, more content, more connections. More people are reaching out to me. I'll be having an article in a local newspaper very soon. So
shout out to you.
Okay.
So working on that.
All I hear is big moves. That's all I hear. That's all
I'm just doing my part and letting the universe do the rest.
Yes, as you should. As you should. Actually, you got something? You good?
Yeah. Before you got inspired into Kickz, you mentioned writing as your muse, or like what was one of the first expressions of art that you embarked on before you started? You know, you became FlyKickz.
I wanted to be a poet. Like I remember, I had a great teacher. Dr. Long, who passed away not too long ago.
Long. I got his book in my car.
And he would take me to all these poetry slams, the Barnes and Noble, like all these places. And they would have this thing. It was kind of similar like a cipher, but they would give you one word. They give you a word and they go around in a circle and everybody kind of got to generate lines off that one word. And it was just like an amazing experience. So a lot of people knew that I write, but I get on stage in front of thousands of people, you get a little shy sometimes. So I used to stand up there, but when I used to win, when I won my very first time doing a poetry slam, I won. People were like, "Who is this little kid?" Like, I mean, you got 12th graders competing, and here I go, I win, and you know those memorable experiences like that. It just lasts forever. So a lot of times, like even with my art, I create names for certain pieces because I know the names sometimes in my head. I'd be like, "Heir to the throne." Okay, I'm gonna create Nefertiti with a sneaker, with sneakers as a crown, like you know. So I did that actually.
I didn't know that's how that came apart.
So you know, so a lot of times, you know, things have come together from just kind of lines of things that I read. So you know, it's so funny. Like when you read, it's like when you read in a book. Artistically, you could put that scene together if a person just is descriptive enough.
The theater of the mind.
Yeah, so that's you know, art.
That's dope.
You know, writing was definitely the fuel.
So what you a haiku, soliloquy?
I had a few haikus. he always tried to get me to do structure, Dr. Long, but I was kind of always free flowing because I really thought I was a rapper on the low. Like I really, so when I'm up there like rhyming, I'm like
Des and May.
I'm crying, yo. I'm crying.
You got words in here that you shouldn't even be putting in there. But I'm like,
sporadically,
yeah.
mathematically.
It was so funny because I probably have a poem with.
Oh, truce. Everybody like,
They said, oh, truth.
Some people in there like, oh, that's fire.
Right?
How she do that?
Y'all lost me at haikus and soliloquies. I was like, oh yeah, I just lean back at that point. I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna just step out of this conversation.
But that's dope. That's dope. That was really your basically your background in art. That's fire.
And I still have all
from
my
the legend
poems.
too. From the legend, Dr.
Yeah, he was. And I have all the poems that he actually wrote his red mark pen on. And so
Really?
Actually, yeah, it was funny. I keep,
Wow.
especially with my writing, like I don't want to throw away who I was. Like, I have a design on my work that has a 3-ring circle, and it stands for the child that I was, the woman that I am, and the masterpiece that I will become. So those writing and those things are a part of my.
Can you break?
Very deliberate right there.
Wait,
that was dope.
Yeah,
You went way too quick.
Run that back. Run that back. Say that again, please.
So
It sounded so good. Do it
I
twice.
actually have a
Gotta go to
tattoo.
rapper.
It's right here. It has a 3-ring circle, and I actually put it on all my art. So it stands for the child that I was, the woman that I am, and the masterpiece that I'll become. So I put that on my work. So
That's beautiful.
So
Wow.
everything's a part of the journey. I don't get fixated on the destination too much because things change.
True,
But we gotta
true.
embrace the unfolding of things, and
Yeah.
that's all a part of it.
So you clearly enjoy the ride as it's going along.
Oh,
like
yeah.
you live in the moment.
More, I think that I've learned that a lot more within the last year and a half.
Yeah.
Because I've always been like, when I first started, it was like, okay, what's next? I would get on the TV, get in the magazine. I'm like, all right, now how am I going to top that? Instead of like, listen, I need to to soak all this up and to make some connections off of this, because you're going to keep on trying to top everything and not really appreciating what you've done. So I'm definitely kind of tapping in a little bit more, and I do that with my content as well. It's like, listen, if I did this big project, we're gonna have to sprinkle this out a little bit. It ain't gonna you're not gonna just get it one day.
Exactly.
And true. Hold on. Wait. It's another question that I haven't asked in a long time to people on the show. What's something you would tell your younger self? He knew what I was going to ask.
I just mouthed it. I already knew what you was about to say.
Because I haven't asked nobody in a long time. What's something that you would tell your younger self, probably under the age of like 19?
I think I would have even a little bit more younger than that, and it actually came to mind because I watched a young guy. He probably was in 23. He's younger than me at this point. Just to really embrace being able to live home when you're young.
Wow.
If you want to be an entrepreneur, that is the time to be an entrepreneur, when you ain't gotta pay bills. Because when you gotta pay bills,
You gave the best answer again.
Or at least the one I could resonate with.
Yeah, exactly. I can relate to that.
Stay your ass home.
Like, I can definitely relate to that. That is true. Yeah, stay home. Stay home.
So stay home and tap in and be the creative that you want to be. That's the time. But it's important for parents to be as supportive of that as well, because sometimes as kids, especially as Black kids, we feel we got to hurry up and get out there and make it happen so fast. It doesn't mean that we're failing. It's just we just taking a little bit more time to plan. So
and everything isn't a race. Like some of these millionaires didn't become millionaires until they was about 47, 50, some years old. So don't let the internet rush you. That's kind of the biggest thing for today. Don't let the internet rush you and do you.
Yeah, their path isn't your path.
Right.
Exactly. What would you tell somebody that's inspiring to paint, just get into art or just anything? What would you tell somebody?
Keep learning. I think it's the thing that when you think you know it all, you're less likely to be receptive of the information that's given to you. So keep being a student as much as you desire to be a teacher. So keep teaching yourself new things. Keep experimenting. Trust the process.
That's the biggest one, man.
Yes. Like I said, if you continue to do your part, the universe does the rest, but you must do your part. That don't mean, okay, you manifest, I want to get a lot of money, but you don't put in no work.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, but just definitely take your time with it and learn your craft.
I like that. Y'all good? Y'all got more? You got another question?
I can.
I got one.
Okay.
Are you
a
a morning creator or a night creator?
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's a really good
My
one.
computer.
That kind of top mine. That kind of top my question.
I mean, that's kind of good, but I'm gonna do whatever I want, creator.
Option
Bye,
C.
KC.
Peace.
Bye, KC.
Sorry.
Drops Mike.
Ben Wallace, man, yo. Like,
I do what I want.
Sorry.
Now I do what I want. Now I do what I want. Hey,
The little shoulders.
Uzi shoulders. Hey.
Yo, I swear, yo,
that's
you
dope,
you
that's
have
dope.
the best answers thus far.
Yeah,
I swear, I like that. I do what I want, created, because there's no like you said, you're not limiting yourself.
I mean, and sometimes you have to feel like that because, like, in the morning, things can throw you off, and then you feel bad when you don't stick to the schedule. Like, I should have been painting by now, and then it's like now you stressed out. You know, so I just say, listen, it's okay. Like, you know, if I get out of the gym at this time, the art is still gonna be there. Just stay focused. You'll be able to get to it as long as I make time to get to it. I do what I have to do in order to do what I want to do. You see what I'm saying? So I try to let my
You got a rapper coming out of you, man. I'm over here like, come on, man.
but I'm not a rapper.
I'm over here like bars, man. Come on. Go ahead. Finish the thought.
So I mean, so that's it. You know, I just kind of, you know, I have some structure, but I understand that things can happen throughout the day. So, you know, be water, they say.
Yeah.
Shout out to Bruce Lee.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
How supportive were your parents of your art?
Don't even get me started on my parents.
Let's
They are
get started.
incredible.
Let's get them here on the show. Actually, we have them here. Parents, come down.
Right? Special guest.
Oh my goodness. Like, man, you know, even like I just seen my parents, you know, today, and I'm like, yo, Mom, you know, remember I had a solo show. My pops was like, you know, because I always hit my dad first. I'm like, yo, I'm trying to, but I was like, listen, I want to lock this in first, and I'm gonna let you know. You see what I'm saying? But he always just remind me, like, when I speak to my father, like, he just drops these gems on me, and me and my father are people of very few words. Like, I walk in the crib, I'm like, yo, what's up? He's like, yo, what's up? That is a caliber to some of our conversations.
Yep.
But it says so much. But my approach with my mom is a little bit different. You see what I'm saying? As it should be, you know. But man, they reassure me, like, even if the world don't understand me, I got me and they got me. And
that's a blessing.
That you know, because I realize not everybody has that, and to have both of my parents are together, they alive, they healthy. You know, it's a blessing every day. I count my blessings. I count them a few times. You know, it's nice to have somebody who supports you. Like, listen, I know you want to go out there, you want to do it on your own, but understand we here. And make it different.
But I like that. Yo, honestly, I'm not even gonna lie. This was probably my best episode. I'm not even gonna lie. It's been a year and a month. Ari, I'm sorry. I love you.
Follow up, too. Set the tone. Man. I mean, now everybody know what's up.
Not
everybody could come up here.
Yeah, everybody can't come here. I like that. So this show is based off of part 2. So a year from now, we do want to have you back, see where you are in life, see what you got going on, see the progress that you have going on. We always invite our guests to come back. We always tell our guests, you know, bring people. This show is about everybody. Like I told you before, this is for everybody. This is to highlight you. Like, it's cool to talk about us, but this is for you. I created this platform so when the guests come on, they can express and tell people what they have going on. So just one last time, shout out everything again so we can get that on film and camera and audio, and then we can close out.
Okay. First and foremost, I want to thank you guys for having me. It's been a pleasure. I appreciate it. Such a beautiful atmosphere. The energy is free flowing. I love it.
Got the lemongrass
So
going.
when I leave here, I'm like, yo, I'm ready to create. I feel good. Y'all got me feeling good.
Like, we inspired.
So thank you.
We appreciate that.
So yeah, thank you again. So yeah, you can definitely find me on Instagram at FlyKickz. IamFlyKickz.com is my website. I have a few events coming up, so stay tuned for that. Come through, check it out if you can at the Trenton Social on June 4th. I'll be there.
Definitely. I appreciate you two brothers in the background. You're good brothers on this.
I just want to do a shout out, yo, to everybody that doesn't get a shout out.
Okay.
This shout out for
what's
y'all.
up with y'all today?
Not for
Oh my God.
It's only because I just seen, like, I don't know what it was the last couple of days. I just seen a lot of people, like, in the progression of my day where I was like, damn, I'm sure nobody told you that. Like, thank you or shout out to you. So shout out to y'all.
Yeah,
Thank
like
you.
that. I like that.
You know what I mean? I'm talking down to the anything. It could be gas attendant.
Yeah.
Like, thank you, because I need gas. And I'm not getting out in New Jersey.
And we don't pump gas in New Jersey.
So, But yeah, shout out to y'all.
Shout out to the moms. It's about to be Mother's Day Sunday.
Yeah.
Shout out to mothers.
Definitely. When this episode dropped, it'll
My
be
mom,
Wednesday. But
love
shout
you.
out to all the moms out there. Shout out to everybody that's holding it down. Shout out to the moms
The
that
dads
are.
that's being moms, all of it.
Yeah, that's
active
what I'm saying.
moms.
Shout out to all the mothers that had rough times, but now they overcame it. You know,
Yes.
everybody goes through something. When nobody's perfect, nobody's parents are perfect.
Shout out to the midwives, helping these
Yes.
women
Yes.
become mothers.
Yes,
as well.
So
Yes.
definitely, Mother's Day is appreciated, and Father's Day is coming up right afterwards. So we
That's
gonna
next
holler-
month.
We're
That's
gonna
next
holler
month.
at that. We're gonna get on
Yeah,
that topic.
yeah, we gotta-
Oh yeah,
yeah.
the Patreon. Shout out to the Patreon. I didn't say that in the
Yeah,
beginning.
shout out to
The
everybody on
Patreon is
Patreon.
$8 a month. You get to hear exclusive content. You get to hear the episodes early on a Tuesday. We will start having videos on there as well. That's how you support the podcast. That's how you help this grow. Because the boys coming out of pocket. I'm just saying. Like the boys coming out of pocket. But we appreciate you for coming
My
through.
pleasure.
Absolutely.
This
Thank
was a
you.
good
Thank you.
episode. I'll see everybody next week.
Yeah.